la abeja, volvemos a disfrutar de la vida.
Y gracias a este milagro podemos ser felices.
B-Miracle frena la artrosis, rejuvenece las articulaciones, desinflama y elimina el dolor. Ya basta de dolores musculares, ya basta de dolores articulares, ya basta de sufrir.
Con una cápsula diaria del veneno de abejas, volví a vivir sin dolores.
B-Miracle. Llame ahora y reciba 2 meses de B-Miracle en oferta especial. Ordena 2 y recibe 3 meses de tratamiento. Pero si llama ahora mismo con su orden, recibirá la crema B-Miracle de acción inmediata completamente gratis. Para ese dolor rebelde y localizado que a veces aparece. Pero tiene que marcar ahora. B-Miracle. Una cápsula por día. El milagro de vivir sin dolor toda la vida.
Hey folks, good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, depending on when and where you're watching. Welcome back to another episode of Biz Talks. My name is Rick Gutierrez. I am your host and your business advocate. Hey, this is the place where we get together every single week to talk to business professionals, business owners that have been in business for quite some time, and they've got all kinds of knowledge that they want to share with us. And today, it's no different because we've got a panel of guest business owners, business professionals that are going to be sharing a lot of insights into their realm, their industry. So every week, join us for tips, tricks, and insights from all sorts of business professionals and business owners from all over the world. And today is no different because we are going to be talking to a good friend of mine now, because it seems like it's a recruiting meeting every single week because we have great conversations and great topics that we talk about every single week. And it's in the world of bookkeeping and managing your books and make sure that you're staying in the black and not in the red. So Nora, welcome back to the show.
Thank you for having me, Rick. It's always a pleasure to be here with you.
It's always a great time to have you on here. As I mentioned a little bit ago, we always have a great conversation. We always talk about great topics about how you help nonprofits as well as for-profit businesses with your services. So today is, we're going to continue that conversation in the realm of the impactful financial management for nonprofits. I think that's a topic that is not talked about quite a bit. And so we want to dive in a little bit more because there is many nonprofits out there that are still wondering, you would imagine, how to navigate through the financial management for that nonprofit. So let's talk a little bit about, maybe share a success story where Nora's books helped a nonprofit organization overcome some significant financial challenges. So let's dive into that a little bit.
Sure. So I just want to talk about one of my clients. She's a nonprofit and she's doing that on the side. So she haven't been focusing on that a lot, but then she decided to join the program, the coaching program that we offer through Nora's books. And then she's also a bookkeeping client. We were running some reports the other day, and she actually was able to double her funding since she started working with us. And typically what we do, we work in both ends of the financial equation. We increase cash flow and we measure the financials with doing bookkeeping. So with that being in mind, we measure everything. We make sure we are on budget. We make sure everything is spent in the area it should be spent. But because we are increasing her cash flow, she was able to maintain good performance, significant growth for her organization, because she was also focused, because we keep measuring, increasing, and then she is continuously actually increasing her nonprofit funding.
That's pretty impressive. Being that I absolutely love processes and systems, being able to run reports, on certain different things. That's basically how we see how the business is doing, right? We cannot just, go on a whim and say, oh, we've got this much in the bank and say that, we're profitable or whatnot. It's not necessarily about that. It's about making sure that all your systems, your processes, being able to run reports, as you mentioned, Nora, is crucial for a business and nonprofits, which essentially is a business as well. So Nora, I've got a question for you. Would you say that nonprofits often operate with limited resources?
Well, they think so. And what I've seen, there's a lot of resources for nonprofit, even more than any business. That what they operate off is a limited mindset. That's what's limited, never the resources. The resources is endless, very abundance. They have so many ways to get their resources. They have volunteers, they have staff, they have board members, they have grants, they have donations, they can sell products, they can sell the service. They have so many ways to increase their funding, to be able to manage their resources. They just have to really operate their nonprofit as a business in order to be able to utilize the resources and manage them well, so they can report to the authority on the IRS level and on their state level in order to stay in compliance and to keep their resources by avoiding the penalties and making sure they have the right people in the right place.
Absolutely. So I think one of the resources that most people don't think about, let's say, for example, they don't have the budget to have an in-house CFO, right? But you can hire a fractional CFO, which I know that's a service that you also offer, right?
Exactly, yes, we do.
Yeah, so that is a resource that can be used for nonprofits or for profit businesses as well, to be able to have that level of experience, that level of expertise in the realm of keeping the book straight and being able to run reports and all those great things. So how do you guys over at Nora's Books, how do you manage, some of the questions that these business owners might have to where they're feeling a little constraint in as far as being able to keep their books in order? How do you navigate, or your team, how do you guys navigate those questions with those clients?
So can you give me a little bit specifics to answer you?
Yeah, so let's say
directly?
you have a business owner or a nonprofit organization to where they're having a very hard time keeping their books in order, right? Because they're thinking that it's just not within their budget and whatnot. So when you come in and they do a consult with you, you ask specific questions, right? And
Yes.
sometimes some conversations need to be navigated, in a very specific way so that it's not overwhelming to that business owner, your potential new client, right? So how do you navigate those conversations with them to ensure them that, it's nothing out of this world, everything's going to be okay, let's just work one step at a time?
Yeah, sure. So the first thing we do in these consultations is we ask the questions, because we don't want to just give the clients what we think it's gonna work. We want them to tell us what they really need, like what's their goal. Like, is it like they need to have more cash flow, or are they having a problem with allocating their resources? So we have the business owner give us like what they really need, and we focus our conversation on that. And also, like, we make sure to educate the client or the prospect to make sure this is something necessary. It's not when you have the budget you do it. You have the budget, but you just don't know, because also your time is a resource, a very important resource that you cannot replicate. When you hire someone who can do your books, who can take care of the finances, then you free that time and you don't have this worry. Like, you're not worried about, like, okay, what if my number looks good or bad, like I'm doing this correctly or not. Most of the time, like, we see 99% of the time everything is done wrong, therefore their decision based on a wrong data, therefore they're not getting out of what their struggle. They keep going on the rat race, because they're keeping on the circle of not knowing the right information, therefore they're having wrong decisions. And that time they free with financing, they can put on growing their business where they should be having their time spent. They are not the accountant, they are not the bookkeeper, they are not the one who are, this is not their area. Even if the person is an accountant, but the business is not in accounting, I don't recommend that at all you do your own accounting. I personally don't do my own bookkeeping. I have some of my team members responsible for that, because when I tried to do it myself, it wasn't done because it's for me, not for my clients. I do what I have to do for my clients, but never for Noura's books, because you always tend to put yourself last, and you're not gonna be as focused to growing your business when you are worrying about your finances. So we always like try to educate the clients, to tell them exactly what we do, what's the expectation, giving them their time to think through and come to us with any more questions. Because often, like with any business, a lot of time, like you're not you need more than one conversation. Sometimes, like if for example, like, and nonprofits, they have board members. Sometimes we offer, okay, you can bring your board members if anyone objects anything, and we can meet again to address any question or any concern. Same thing when you have a business partner. We offer that, okay, you can come again, think through, like email us with questions. So because often people don't know they are really ready to do that, because when you start a business, you are ready, but you think, oh, I need to do this first, I need to pay myself. Most of the time, you're not able to pay yourself until you are paying someone else to do the thing that you are not supposed to do, like accounting. So this way, we find area of improvement all the time, because we are continuously measuring, and you are able to identify these areas because your data is correct. So that's how we direct the conversation to make people like really understand what is it about. Education is actually one of our core value, and we take this seriously whenever we talk to people, prospects and clients. So when they become clients, we answer any question that they have, so they are as educated as possible in their capacity, so they can make the right decision.
Absolutely. So I love the way that you phrased all of that, because it is there is a way to navigate those conversations with those business owners, right? So, but in layman's terms, what you're basically wanting those business owners to do is to stay in their lane, go do what you're good at, and delegate all of the things that, one, you're probably not good at, and you need to focus on maybe company culture, or you need to focus on business development, or maybe just training and leadership training for your employees and whatnot. And so I love the way that you phrased that. So one of the other things that I wanted to talk about a little bit as well is to give you the opportunity to talk a little bit more about your event that you have coming up, which is the challenge, right? So let's talk a little bit about that before our time runs out today.
Sure, thank you so much. So tomorrow, on the 23rd, I'm not sure when is this episode you're gonna see this, but it's going to be 23rd. We're gonna have like every day until the 27th. It's a challenge for nonprofit to increase, to get actually $10,000 in this 5 days. Now we're going to go through a lot of ideas, and I'll give you strategies on how to identify the ideal donors, because ideal donors is really critical for any organization to raise funds. And when you have a strong donor base, that is actually diversifying of funding on its own, even though there's other way, but 70% or more of your funding should come from ideal donors. So what will happen in this challenge, I'm going to help you identify your ideal donors. So if you are a nonprofit, or you know anyone who is a nonprofit, make sure you register. We are extending the registration for the first 3 days, not only for before, but I encourage you to join as soon as you watch this, because you're not going to want to miss it. You're going to change your life once you learn these strategies, and you're going to win. And that's what we want. And you have to be ready for that before the end of the year, so you can really get the funding you deserve for a nonprofit.
Absolutely. All right. Thank you so much, Nora. We appreciate you being on the show one more time. And we always have a great time, great conversation. So thank you for being on the show. Folks, we're going to take a quick commercial break. Stay right there. We'll be right back.
Do you have diabetes? If you have insurance, you may qualify for a new continuous glucose monitor. With a CGM, you can continuously track your levels and trends, spend more time in range, significantly lower your A1C, and share important data with loved ones and caregivers. Most importantly, CGM eliminates the one thing most people with diabetes hate: painful finger sticks. Take charge of your health. Order your new continuous glucose monitor today. If you use insulin and have seen your diabetes care provider within the last 6 months, you may qualify for a CGM today. We'll do all the insurance paperwork and deliver your new CGM at little or no out-of-pocket cost to you. Medicare and most insurances cover continuous glucose monitors, so don't wait. Have your insurance handy and call the CGM Health Hotline now.
Are you nearly maxed out on your credit cards? It doesn't matter if you're using your credit cards for fun or to survive. At the end of the month, your statements come in, and you can either pay them or you can't. If you can't, late fees and interest rates get tacked on. And now you're struggling just to make the minimum payment due. Do you feel trapped? Am I talking to you? Good, because I personally researched some companies that can help you. They may be able to reduce your credit card balances by 50% and stop the late fees. If you qualify, please call our special debt hotline number right now for a complimentary free 5-minute consultation. Deal with your credit card problem now before it gets much worse and put more money back in your pocket. Trust me, I've been there too. Call right now. Call 855-993-2096 right now. That's 855-993-2096.
How would you like to go on a 5-star vacation for just $99? We're talking about the quality of a Westgate resort for $99. Not for one night, but for 3 fantastic nights at one of their luxurious destinations across the United States. And you'll even get a free $100 Visa gift card just for making a reservation. We've got some of the choicest destinations that you'll love in the United States that you can choose from for just $99 for a 3-night stay. Take your family, take a special loved one, but get away. Go on vacation with Westgate Resorts. Call now to make a reservation for just $99 and you get a free $100 Visa gift card. Call Westgate right now and book your vacation. Here's the number.
Call 877-930-3491. That's 877-930-3491. Again, 877-930-3491.
Hey folks, welcome back to Biz Talk. My name is Rick Gutierrez, your host and your business advocate. In case you're just now tuning in, we've been having conversations with business professionals, business owners that are bringing an enormous amount of business education for all of us to learn from them because they've been in business for a very long time. And they're here to share some additional expertise, particular subjects that we want to talk about today. So our next guest is no stranger to the show. And he is an expert in everything that has to do with AI, which is something that's very popular today. Dr. Alan Badu, welcome back to the show.
Hi, Rick. It's great to be here. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, great to see you again. Thank you for being on the show. Hey, one of the conversations that we've had in the past was in terms of how AI and human relationships and things like that. So I figured let's just enhance that conversation a little bit and go into how human and AI relationships are coming closer together with the good work that you guys over there at Harmonic AI, what you guys are doing over there. So let's dive in a little bit into that. What do you say?
Yeah, I think that sounds good. I mean, everything that we're doing here at Harmonic is really around, human factor designs. It's around relationships. And when you have an AI that you're trying to build a relationship with and understand and utilize, it's important that, trusting it feeling comfortable with it. All those other things that you have with other personal relationships with people are still important when it comes to AI. And so we're trying to get as many of those into the functionality and the capabilities as we can.
Absolutely, because that relationship between AI and humans, I mean, it's just going to continue to grow. It's going to continue to get better as we move forward in time and how we train our AI platforms or tools, right? So let's talk a little bit about maybe even share your approach on how you guys over at Harmonic AI, you guys are improving that user experience and decision making, those processes, and they're in different mini industries, right? So you pick an industry and use that as an example, but you guys are always improving those experiences, and maybe share some details about a maybe potential client or anything like that you guys want to share.
Yeah, and the first thing that we do is we're teaching our customers that using AI tools is very different than how you interact with Excel. It's very different with how you interact with your traditional quote unquote tools that you've used in the past. And the reason is because its capabilities are different, its functionality is different, and its responses are different. And so if you use an AI tool just like you've used traditional tools, then you are not getting the full benefit that that tool set has to offer. And when people understand that basic concept, then you really can start to take the next step to say, okay, now that I understand that it's more of a personal relationship with that tool, this is now the new direction that I'm going to go, from asking it questions, from interacting with it, from what sort of responses you should be able to expect from it, and then also how you may want to shape it to respond in a certain way so you can get a different perspective. And from our work that we're doing, it's all about getting a different perspective from the AI, so that then you can better understand all the other scenarios that you may need to respond to. Fundamentally, that's what our tool set is trying to do. Give you those capabilities, give you a deeper understanding of the situations, and then let you make the best decision that is right for you as a human. And that's really the driving factor around it.
Absolutely. So as we know, we have been working with AI for quite some time now. We just really didn't look at it that way, or didn't even realize it. But these smartphones have come a long way, and they've been coming a long way for several years now. I want to say maybe the last decade or so. They've come, a long ways. And one of the features that I recently found out about, and I want to get your take on this, but on an iPhone, there is a feature that you can turn on in settings, that it can track your eyes, and you can manage and select a certain application by just blinking and selecting a certain application. Have you had a chance to play with any of that?
Oh yeah, and it's kind of interesting. In some of the work that I used to do for the government, those were some fundamental things that we were trying to design. It's that is really the baseline of human factors engineering, is how can I interact with an application, a system, and try to make the right decision, and get the result that I'm looking for. It's really amazing some of the things that you can do with these iPhones right now around those biometric capabilities, and being able to track your eyes, to look at other features and capabilities that are out there, and then make a decision on what the app is. It seems kind of easy now, but think about it 5 years ago, when folks would they had some sort of a disability, or quadriplegics, for example, would use this, especially from the neck down, right, would be able to use it, where that's how they were communicating. They were communicating with their eyes. They were picking letters that would show up on a screen, and then it might be able to read a sentence to you. Well, now being able to do it with your iPhone and track that means that we continue to shrink down the hardware that's required to be able to do that, while expanding it from a software perspective to allow users that additional functionality. It really is phenomenal what we're able to do now, and it's only going to get better.
Absolutely. So one of the things that I do know, I think it was Stephen Hawkins that was one of the first ones to start using that technology, and now it's come this far to where we have it available on our phones. I've played with it a little bit. It's not, the greatest just yet, but I can assume that it's just going to get better as the years go by. So it's pretty interesting.
Takes a lot of practice.
It takes a lot of practice.
Yeah.
So another question that I have for you that I think is highly important. So you guys are working with a lot of either features or innovations over at Harmonic AI that can help bridge the gap between those that are very complex within the AI systems and the ones that are, not as technical savvy as others, right? So what types of features, tools, innovations you guys are working with, or you guys are planning to develop to help bridge that gap between, it's pretty easy, simple to use for everyone, and not just for those that are really great with AI or technology in itself?
Yeah, and that is a great question, Rick, because this is something that we have faced for a long time. I've been doing this for over 20 years now. And it's always been a challenge for me to design a system or an application where, one, the user, because they're maybe an expert in their field, isn't going to go out and check the results of the AI, right? Because then they're just creating extra work for themselves. So that's one thing that you're trying to avoid. But the second thing is going to be, what if it's not an expert and it's somebody that just needs to get some sort of answer out of that, whatever that tool set is, that starts to become a challenge, because as you're trying to really converge those two, oftentimes they don't mesh very well from a usability perspective on an app. Think about, I keep going back to Excel, but think about somebody that's just using it for basic spreadsheets versus somebody that's trying to price a government proposal that's 1,000 pages, for example. Very different use cases, but for the same tool. From an AI perspective, though, what we are trying to do is to say, you know what, there are just fundamental things that the AI is excellent at, and a user, whether they're a subject matter expert or a beginner, they don't need to understand what those sort of things are. They just need to be shown the results and the confidence level of what the AI has in presenting those results. And so my mantra over the last about 5 years since I left the government and was doing some work with the Army has been, how can I get the user to an answer in under 5 clicks? Meaning 5 clicks of the mouse, just that simple. I want to put in this information. I want it to get this data. I want it to analyze this piece. This is how I want to visualize it, and this is what I want it to do after I make my decision. And if you can drive that sort of philosophy into these applications, then it makes them feel more comfortable that they're using the AI in the right way. But also, from our end, we also though have a responsibility to present it to our users that, the AI was only 50% confident when it was telling you this. Here's the information behind that. So transparency is also very important. But that's the basic principle that we try to follow. Under 5 clicks, let the user get to an answer, and then you're good to go.
Under 5 clicks, that is actually pretty impressive. I mean, it's quite quick in order to get the answers that you need to get you to move to the next process or next task that we've got to do. So one of the things that I think is pretty phenomenal is what you guys are doing is something that many companies are not doing, and that is helping business professionals and business owners take their business to the next level in a more creative, more effective way, where time of either the business owner or the employees could be saved, and you can save a lot of time so that you can multitask and potentially grow the business a lot more, a lot quicker, a lot faster, right? So Dr. Bordeaux, it's another great episode. I think we've had a great conversation just like we've had before, and I'm sure we're going to have more in the future. I want to thank you for being on the show again and always bringing your expertise. It's always a blast having you. So we're going to go into another commercial break Folks, stay right there. We'll be right back with another subject matter expert.
Do you have a car sitting around you want to get rid of? Well, here's a great idea. Donate your car now to help local veterans in your area. Yes, just make one fast call to the Veteran Car Donation Program. Within a few days, we'll come and remove your car for free. You can donate any car in any condition. We'll use our vast network to sell it. The proceeds raised go to help local veterans and their families. And you get a tax deduction. And all you need to do is make this free call. Clean your yard up, get rid of an old car, and help the vets. We make it easy. Make this free call now. Book your fast and easy pickup. Call the Veteran Car Donation Program now.
If you're living with diabetes and using insulin, you know the pain of pricking your fingers over and over again. By wearing a small device called a continuous glucose monitor, or CGM, you can reduce the pain of pricking your fingers right away. If you use insulin daily, you might be eligible to get your own continuous glucose monitor. So call the US Med Diabetic Health Hotline today and learn about the latest CGM technology. Not only can a CGM immediately reduce pain, it's accurate, easy to use, and helps you make better diabetes treatment decisions. And if you have Medicare or private insurance, you can see if you qualify for a CGM at little or no out-of-pocket cost. We'll also provide free shipping of your new CGM, and we'll bill your insurance company for you. If you use insulin daily, you might be eligible to get your own continuous glucose monitor. So call the US Med Diabetic Health Hotline to see if you qualify for a CGM at little to no out-of-pocket cost.
Are you nearly maxed out on your credit cards? It doesn't matter if you're using your credit cards for fun or to survive. At the end of the month, your statements come in, and you can either pay them or you can't. If you can't, late fees and interest rates get tacked on. And now you're struggling just to make the minimum payment due. Do you feel trapped? Am I talking to you? Good, because I personally researched some companies that can help you. They may be able to reduce your credit card balances by 50% and stop the late fees. If you qualify, please call our special debt hotline number right now for a complimentary free 5-minute consultation. Deal with your credit card problem now before it gets much worse and put more money back in your pocket. Trust me, I've been there too. Call right now.
Call 855-993-2096 right now. That's 855-993-2096.
Hey folks, welcome back to Biz Talk. My name is Rick Gutierrez. I am your host and your business advocate. Hey, we're having continued conversations with business owners, business professionals that have been in business for a long time, and we are having a great time because we're learning quite a bit. And our next guest is no stranger to the show as well, Mark Lamplugh with South Jersey Treatment Management Company. Welcome back to the show, sir.
Thank you, Rick. Thanks for having me back.
Absolutely. So every time that we have a chance to have these conversations, we learned a little bit about your experience, your expertise, and what you guys are doing over there in South Shore, Jersey Treatment. But one of the things that I wanted to kind of just dive in a little bit more, because we've talked about this before, but I think it's really important that we just kind of dive in a little bit deeper into fostering a positive workplace culture, which is something that a lot of business owners, a lot of companies are missing the beat on this particular topic, and I think we can share with the world your knowledge, your expertise, and what you guys are doing over there. What do you say we dive into that?
Sounds great.
Awesome. So, Mark, you've emphasized in the past the importance of fostering that positive culture in the workplace. Can you share some of your key strategies that you've implemented at your place over at South Jersey Treatment Management Company to cultivate such environment?
Sure. A few of them that we've implemented here at South Jersey Treatment Management Company. One of them is we keep a shout out board for staff members on our Google chats. And every few days, when a team member does something above and beyond, they'll do a shout out or recognize them to the other, team members. And then everybody kind of interacts and, says good work and recognizes that employee. That's one of the things we like to do. Another thing I do here is employee surveys. I think I talked a little bit about this before, but we like to send out surveys to employees, try to learn what we're doing well, what we need to improve on, and maybe some ideas that employees may have to make changes here to make a better workplace environment. Also, trying to keep an open door policy for any employees that need, anything, need help. I don't really even work out of an office. I spend my days in the conference rooms, at the facilities, so staff members see me, interact with me on a daily basis.
Absolutely. So I think one of those things to where having an open door policy is a great thing, but there's still, employees, mindset might be to where I know that there's an open door policy, but maybe they're still a little intimidated to going in there. So what you're doing and spending your time, out on the field, talking to them or having meetings in the conference room to where it makes the space a little bit more open for everyone to be able to maybe elaborate on what they're thinking or what their vision is, or maybe just have their voices heard, right? And I think that's really important.
Right.
So I appreciate that you guys do that you do that, because it's important to ensure that our employees are not only, for them to feel that they're being heard, but they are actually being heard, because we're taking some of their ideas and put them into place, right?
Absolutely, yep.
What role does employee development play in creating that positive workplace, that culture in your company?
It plays a big part. One of the things, matter of fact, is something I just implemented is something called Relias, which is training programs for employees. One of the things about behavioral mental health care is clinicians who are licensed need to meet certain criteria for CEUs, every year so they can treat patients. But I extend that Relias training to all the staff and creating training programs for every department and every position to make them better employees on their jobs and dealing with patients and answering phones better, or whatever it may be. And that program's being implemented now, and we'll be rolling that out very soon.
Yeah, that's great that you guys are doing that. I think employee development is huge. It plays a big role. I mean, they need to know that we are investing in them because we believe in them, we trust in them, we know that they have all the capabilities to do the job that they were hired to do. But even more so, just providing them with additional education or continuing education to be able for them to be a little bit more effective, right? So that is fantastic. So one of the other things that we also kind of talked about briefly last time that you were on the show is, you provided an example of how a positive workplace culture has directed and contributed to the success of the growth of South Jersey Treatment Management Company. But let's talk a little bit more about, there's a particular type of leadership that is basically labeled as servant leadership. So I'll tell you a brief example as to what I consider that is. I have a good friend of mine who checks in with his employees, and sits down with them and just wants to know about them and see how they're doing, how they're feeling, and things like that. We know that they can do the job. We know that they're doing a fantastic job. But it's just about the leader in that team, in that company, to sit down with the employees and find out, what's going on with you, if it's everything good, and all of those good things, all of those great questions, because that is what I consider to be a servant leadership. Would you consider that's the type of leadership that you're providing to your employees there at South Shore?
Yeah, I would think it is. Like I said, I don't have the CEO mentality where I'm the boss and you do what I say.
Right.
I interact daily with my employees. I don't think a lot of people, even our patients, even know that I'm the CEO. When I'm interacting on the day to day, getting tasks done, and I kind of like that. I want them to feel comfortable, being around me, and as I'm one of them, but also have a certain respect for the positions that they have, and the responsibilities that come with those positions, because we're treating people with mental health issues that is life-threatening things, and we need to be on top of our game, and we're creating an impact not just in our facilities, but when these patients go home and into their everyday lives with their friends and family. So we want to leave a positive impact when they leave here. Thus, then when they have somebody that may need help, they will refer them to our care because they know we provide that level of care that they deserve.
Absolutely. So that's from a patient standpoint and also from an employee standpoint, right? We want to make sure that the culture is set correctly, and that is basically of a one team culture where one team member needs assistance, the other team member can, provide that assistance where they're at. And being able to cross-train, which I think is something that I think it's crucial for nowadays, especially with employees having, additional knowledge on how to do the work of others in different departments. Is that something that you guys also promote within, to where you cross-train to ensure that one can overlap the other?
Yeah, we do that, and one of the things I have just started doing, because we ran into kind of a position that we were stuck in our billing department, where a team member had left and nobody could do that job. So now everybody in our billing department is learning all the positions. So if one is out on vacation, somebody else can step in and continue doing that work, without any gaps, and kind of leave us in a tough spot. And that goes with a lot of our admissions jobs. We cross-train them on the front desks and things like that. That way they can move in and help out in other areas. And we even do that in between our facilities. Clinicians will come to another facility and help out with intakes and vice versa. So, if there's a gap because we're short-staffed in one area, we can pull from another to help. It saves money, but it also saves time, and keeps the ball rolling, so to speak.
Absolutely. So that's a great way to manage that. So, Mark, I've got I guess for my personal education, what's the number one strategy that you use to implement to create that culture where team members are like, what, this is a great job. I can see myself being here for many years. Different companies have different strategies and whatnot, but I just kind of want to pick your brain a little bit on that. What strategy would you say has been the one that's worked the best for you?
I think for me personally, one of the things that's really worked well is not micromanaging my team, and trusting their abilities, and my leaders in the specific departments, that they know and understand how to manage their team, and report back those things to me. I've been at places where the boss or the CEO is want to kind of interject themselves into the role, or other management jobs, and not trusting the employees. So I like to hire people that I know can do the job. I feel confident in, and trusting that they're going to do what they say they can do. Then in turn, makes for, I think, a more positive work culture.
Absolutely. So there is the hiring process, right, where you vet all of your new hires. They have the qualifications, they have the certifications, anything or everything that they need. And then there's the training process that you and your team, onboard your new hires with. And so the reason why I mention that is because there's got to get to a point where you have to trust your employees. You have to ensure that you need to make sure that your employees know that they are being trusted with the work and their tasks that they need to do. So that is fantastic, Mark. I want to say thank you for everything that you guys are doing over there at South Shore Jersey Treatment management company, and also the work that you're doing as far as leadership goes. That servant leadership model, I think it's one of the best ones out there, and it really makes a really great, work environment. The culture, it really sets a good tone. So I want to thank you, and I appreciate for everything that you do.
Thank you.
All right, my friend, we've come to a close of this segment, and Marco, we look forward to having you in future segments as well. So we appreciate you. Thank you for stopping by. Folks, we're going to take a quick commercial break. We're going to be right back with another expert. So stick right there. We'll be right there.
Do you have a car sitting around you want to get rid of? Well, here's a great idea. Donate your car now to help local veterans in your area. Yes, just make one fast call to Veteran Car Donation Program. Within a few days, we'll come and remove your car for free. You can donate any car in any condition. We'll use our vast network to sell it. The proceeds raised go to help local veterans and their families. And you get a tax deduction. And all you need to do is make this free call. Clean your yard up, get rid of an old car, and help the vets. We make it easy. Make this free call now. Book your fast and easy pickup. Call the Veteran Car Donation Program now.
If you're on supplemental oxygen, heavy and awkward tanks can be a burden. Now you can leave home and leave the tanks behind with Inogen, portable oxygen therapy that moves with you.
With my Inogen, now I'm able to do the things that I've always loved. I just press the button here and there's my oxygen.
Inogen systems are so small and light, you're free to leave the house without the hassles of an oxygen tank.
I could play golf again. I could go grocery shopping. I'm free again.
With the Inogen, I can handle my own oxygen. I can carry my own oxygen. I go anywhere with this. Look how small it is.
And right now, you can try an Inogen portable oxygen system for 30 days risk-free. Call us right now. If you qualify, we'll send you an Inogen system to use for 30 days risk-free. Your insurance may even cover your new Inogen system.
If you're on oxygen, you need to be using an Inogen.
Call 800-367-1753. That's 800-367-1753.
Hey folks, welcome back to Biz Talk. My name is Rick Gutierrez and I'm your host and your business advocate. Hey, we're having a great conversations this week with many business professionals and business owners, and they're just sharing tons of insights, tips, and tricks into business. And I'm really excited to have our next guest because it's first time on this particular show that I'm aware of. And so we've got a great conversation ahead. And I want to welcome Faraz Alhulu with Startup with Faraz. Welcome to the show, sir.
Thank you, Rick. Thank you so much. I'm really looking forward to our discussion here.
Okay, wonderful. We're happy to have you. You know, as I mentioned a minute ago, we have tons of great conversations with business owners, business professionals, and this is just to bring some light of business to all of our viewers and share your expertise, share your knowledge, and then also showcase your business, right? So that's what this is all about. So once again, thank you for being here. And what do you say we get started with, your expertise in successfully building and selling companies in Silicon Valley and abroad, it looks like. What are some of the most critical decisions you believe founders must make in the early stages of their starting journey?
Yeah, a lot of important decisions for sure.
A lot of important decisions,
but for those of us out there who are not in Silicon Valley, most of my last 20 plus years has been in services. So if you're not in tech, if you're not in the product, no worries. Everything I'll cover here is about services, and most of it applies to product as well. But in terms of decisions, I think the most important decision in my mind is when you're about to start a business, or you started and you're still not sure, is about do I really want to do this? Am I really ready for this? If you go on YouTube these days, unfortunately, you see a lot of these get-rich-quick schemes out there. How to become a millionaire over a month or two, or how to make $150,000, a month. Entrepreneurship is very rewarding. I have no regrets. I learned a lot. It's been rewarding financially and otherwise. Amazing friendships, amazing cultures we've built. Being your own boss is amazing, but to get there, it does require a lot of time, a lot of effort, a lot of dedication. I say one of our principles around here is passion is optional, but skills and sacrifice are not. So I want you to succeed. I want you to go into entrepreneurship knowing that there is a bit of commitment, there's a bit of sacrifice, there's a bit of hard work. You can't really grow a business and grow significantly working 40 hours a week. Now, if you can only put in 30 hours a week, maybe you can have a side hustle, you can be a solopreneur, but if you're serious about growing a business and scaling to 7 and 8 figures, you want to be ready for that journey. So I start off with that when I speak with founders.
Absolutely. So I think it's one of those things to where one of the key words that I heard you mention was sacrifice, right? There is a lot of things that happen when you're starting your journey as a new business owner. First and foremost, there's a lot of education, right? There's tons of knowledge that you're going to receive. Our brains practically can have overload of information, right?
Yes.
But then there's also the time commitment that it takes, right?
Yeah.
I mean, a typical business owner is not going to work your 40 hours a week like you mentioned. It's a little bit more than that. So I want to thank you for elaborating on that, because I'm pretty sure that you have seen some common pitfalls that happen when startups, when these startups, first start up, they encounter a lot of these pitfalls, right? And you have been able to help a lot of these business owners, new business owners, overcome those pitfalls. What would you say would be the number one thing that you have been able to provide, aside from knowledge and education, to these business owners so that they can continue to move forward?
Yeah, I would say sort of two sides of the coin. There's over planning and under planning. So I've seen founders where they spend so much time on developing this perfect business plan, spending months doing some market research, speaking with 50 other business owners, speaking with 10 competitors, and they're not out there hitting the pavement, learning firsthand how to pitch, how to sell, how to deliver. So I'm all in favor of planning. As the saying goes, the 5 Ps, prior planning prevents poor performance. So I do want you to plan, but I don't want you to be behind a computer spending 10 hours a day and just delaying this first step of being out there pitching and selling. So that's on sort of the over planning. I think under planning, I've seen probably as many people jump into entrepreneurship, whether it's a side hustle or solopreneur, or they want to hire people and grow, and it's all based on ideas. I mean, ideas are a dime a dozen, Rick, you know that, but it's this execution, it's putting the time, it's learning, maybe getting 5 rejections. I remember the first time we went on my very first business, and that happened after I was laid off I was a VP in a high tech here in Silicon Valley. I was laid off all of a sudden, young family, couldn't get a job. It was a dry market just like now. Could not get a job, could not get an interview for 6, 7, 8 weeks. So ran into a friend of mine, he wants to start a business. We did it. Both of us had zero background in sales. So we planned for a couple of weeks, and then we hit the pavement. 5 restaurants in one day. People who know us, people who actually, we pay them money to eat at their places, and we got 5 rejections. It was harsh. It was hard. It took us a couple days to recover, but then we sold. We sold the first deal, and that was probably the sweetest moment in my professional career. Maybe besides selling the businesses, that was also very sweet, but getting that validation that I have something to offer to people, and people are convinced that I can do it and buy it from me. So don't over plan and don't under plan. I don't want you to have a 50-page business plan. I want you to have maybe start with a one pager, go out, validate, talk to others, go out, try to do it on the side, maybe see what's working, see what's not, what help you need, maybe contractors, part-timers, learn some of this stuff, and then gradually go into growing that business.
I think that hits home quite a bit, because in sales, when you're a business owner, you're selling. As a matter of fact, I like to tell people that we've been selling since we were very young, because we had to sell ourselves to our parents, and then every time we wanted something or needed something, we needed to get our parents' approval, to get that one thing. So we've been in sales for a very long time, but there's nothing like, being rejected. And you mentioned that. You talked about your first 5 restaurants in one day, and those were 5 rejections, right? But the idea is to believe in what you have to offer, and believe in it so much that no amounts of rejections can keep you from the belief that you have in being able to be of service to others and or industries like restaurants and whatnot, to help them provide a better service for their clients. And so that belief system is something that we need to hold on to and never forget that we do have something of value, right? I appreciate you sharing that. So it's very powerful stuff. So let's talk about some specific examples of a startup you mentored that overcame, significant obstacles to achieve success. I know you've got some success stories with you, so let's dive into that a little bit and share a little bit about some of those experiences.
Sure. The one that comes to mind relatively recently, someone who's been in business for a little bit, maybe a little bit over a year, and they sell tutoring services, language. They help other people acquire language skills and also advanced language skills. If you want to apply to med school, you want to apply to to like business type, not just sort of a tourist level, language, but something more advanced. And they were living in a small city overseas, and they were charging like $20 an hour. So I speaking with the gentleman, very knowledgeable. He's got all the certifications, Rick, all the certifications that you need in that field. He had them. And I'm thinking, my friend, let's call him Ted. Ted, you should be able to double your pricing and you should be doing just fine. He was really stressed out because he was like from one lesson to the other, all online, and he could hardly spare a minute for his business and his life and his family. So he was very reluctant to increase his pricing because he might lose customers. So I said, if you double your pricing and you lose half of your clients, you still come on top, because now you'll have, double the time. You'll have, half of your time will be available to sell more or just to enjoy time with your family. It took him 3 to 4 months to really be convinced of doing this. And I obviously do this. You don't just surprise people with this and you tell them I'm doubling my pricing. You do it. You communicate. You explain why. You give people, maybe your existing clients, you give them some grace period. But I spoke with him a year later, and he was the happiest guy. He did not lose a single client. He's working less hours and making more money. And part of it is having gone something I learned the hard way and I struggled with, and someone shared that piece of information, that piece of advice with me, and I shared it on to this founder, and he's happier. And I'm very happy for him because now, he's making more money and spending more time. So that's just something recent that happened that it's just very delightful, very, very rewarding to see that people are improving their business and improving just their life.
That's great that you mentioned that, because I can attest that, myself, I was very hesitant to increase prices or double the prices myself. And so until somebody brought it to my attention. And when I decided to do that, like your example, not one client was lost, and we were able to achieve more and take our business to the next level, just because getting out of that comfort zone or getting out of that worry that we're going to lose clients because we're increasing price or whatnot. That's a limiting belief that a lot of business owners do have, and it's something that we need to get over, because we do have the value. We do provide value for our clients. We have our team that's talented. All of the tools and resources that we provide to our clients is of value. And so we just need to remember that. Paris, it's been a great conversation. Thank you for being on the show. We definitely do enjoy having you. Hopefully this will be the first of many times that you're going to be on the show.
Likewise, no, really enjoyed your conversation. Thank you for your tips and advice as well.
Absolutely. It's great having you. All right, folks, that's going to do it for this episode of Biz Talks. We certainly had a great time having all these conversations with all these business professionals, business owners. We're doing some really good things here, and we appreciate you tuning in. Hopefully you'll tune in next week. As we always do, we're going to be here having more conversations next week. Until next time, take care of each other.
This has been a Now Media Networks feature presentation. All rights reserved.
Do you have diabetes? If you have insurance, you may qualify for a new continuous glucose monitor. With a CGM, you can continuously track your levels and trends, spend more time in range, significantly lower your A1C, and share important data with loved ones and caregivers. Most importantly, a CGM eliminates the one thing most people with diabetes hate: painful finger sticks. Take charge of your health. Order your new continuous glucose monitor today.